Hello, this is Erin Perkins-Curette from www.littlecircles.net, and today I'm here with our video for part 2 of the tree silhouette mosaic. If you joined us last time, we created a background, we drew out a tree outline. You'll notice that this is not the same tree that I had in the last video, and that's because I get very ahead of myself and I quilt too fast, and I skipped over a couple steps while I was making the last video about the color swatch. So I created another background, and I'm going to slow down on this one while I go ahead with the other one and kind of show you both processes. So I've got sort of a before and after. So the next step is I'm going to show you how to outline your tree silhouette. This is a completely optional step. It's not necessary. If you have a lot of little limbs, I actually suggest you probably skip this step. I like the way that an outline contains my pieces because I do like to quill really tightly, and I like to kind of densely stuff my pieces into my mosaic. So this just kind of gives me a little structure. I find it a bit less frustrating when I get to certain parts that they don't kind of squish out the sides, I guess. I don't know. Try both ways. Try it with, try it without. I didn't used to do this. I still don't constantly do it. I don't do it with every piece. It really just depends on, I don't know, what I feel like doing. I believe heavily in allowing my intuition to kind of guide me in what to do for each piece. So sometimes it feels like it needs it, and sometimes it doesn't. So, you know, listen to your own intuition. If this step just sounds extremely tedious, maybe skip it this time, and after you've made a few additional mosaics, maybe you'll be ready to give it a try. But it's also very useful in a variety of projects. So regardless, hopefully you'll learn something. So okay, so for this project, I'm going to do this tree entirely in blues, a blue scheme. So I'm going to be doing my tree in Lake Superior, which is a Culture Pop color. It's the darkest blue currently available. It's like a midnight navy blue. It looks black here, but it's really a blue, and you're just gonna have to take my word for it. So I've already done a couple pieces here. The first piece or two that you put on are usually the trickiest because you have nothing to anchor them to. So I just put a couple on there, well, just because. And what we're going to do is create this outline piece. Using just a piece of paper is not really a viable option. It would be too flimsy. So what we're going to do is take multiple pieces and put them together into a long strip like this, and it makes it just kind of hard. They're still flexible, they're bendable, you can do all kinds of things with them. This is 4 pieces put together, and that's what we're going to do today. So I've already pre-cut them. I'm doing them in half strips just for demonstration purposes. Basically, you're going to just take it and take your little Circles Quilling Glue bottle, which just is perfect for this type of project. And you're just going to kind of squiggle glue it down. It doesn't have to be perfect, but be a little bit liberal with the glue. You know, it might take you a couple times to figure out how heavy to hand it, because you want enough that when you put the other piece on it, it doesn't squish out the sides, but it's enough that it will cover the entire inside portion. So once you do it, get it, just match up the other piece and kind of press it down to make sure that there's a good seal. And that's it. That's all you do. So that's 2 pieces, and I'm going to just add 2 more. And the reason that you need a really good seal is if you do not get enough glue on it, like if it was too little amount of glue, you're going to end up having the paper buckle when we attempt to bend it. And there's really a couple different ways to outline, or a couple different processes that you can use. And I often use multiple in one picture. So it's just kind of nice to have a few different options at your disposal as you go along, so you can pick and choose whatever is best for your particular project. On a lot of my pictures, I use this method for different kinds of effects as well. You know, you can really glue multiple strips together. You can do it in varying colors to create other effects, to make steps or outlines for houses or all sorts of things. But so kind of play around with it a little bit and see, you know, where might gluing strips together to make these thicker pieces, you know, be a creative addition to your project. So, okay, so that's 4 right there. I'm just going to set that aside. It's a little flimsy while it's wet. If you have a very curvy piece, it's sometimes easier to do it when it's wet. I don't have anything extremely curvy in this, so I'm just going to set it aside and grab one of my harder pieces here that I've already put together. And I'm just going to show you a few different little things. I'm going to do this piece down here at the bottom and just show you how easy it is to curve it. So what I'm going to do is just put it here at a joint where 2 pieces are going to meet. And you can see there's kind of a curve there, and then it's going to go in another curve. So what I'm going to do is first just sort of figure out how much am I going to need. And this is going to be quite a curvy piece. There. And if it goes over a little bit, it's not going to be a problem. Now, when you've got something that's really curvy, I mean, this is not really curvy, but it's a little bit curvy. Sometimes it helps to actually put the glue down a few seconds before you're going to put the piece of paper down. This just allows it to become a little tacky. And I'm just going to go right along the edge there. Okay, just like that. And you can see, so it's got a little curve, and then we're going to go around. So I'm just going to use my fingers and sort of bend it, you know, so it kind of matches it, and then just sort of use my fingers and mold the rest of the paper. And there's quite a curve to this, so you might have to do it a few times. And if it buckles a little bit at the bottom or even at the top, it's really not that big of a deal. It's not going to show up in your finished piece. These outlines do not stand out, at least not at 4 pieces. If you want the outline to stand out more, you're going to need more than 4 pieces. And then I'm just going to lay it down and try to get it right in that glue. And then just bend it around, and then you're just going to hold it and press it. And it can take a little bit of time, especially when it's curvy like this. Let's see, we'll let go. But see, it's just going to kind of pop up. And that's why letting the glue dry for a minute is helpful. And I don't want you to have to wait for this. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this and let this dry, and then I will be right back. Okay, so it's not exactly dry, but it's staying in place now because the glue became tacky. Actually, I can see a little. I'm just going to adjust it a tiny bit. There you go, and you can just see it it stays in place better. There you go. And you can see there's glue totally on both sides, and that's because it's moving all over the place. But trust me, it's not going to matter in the finished product at all. And Little Circles glue, the quilling glue, it dries clear, so it won't affect your piece at all. Okay, so I'm going to turn a little bit here and show you another, I don't know that I would call it a method, but just another way that you can do things for pieces that aren't so curvy. Now here you can see that it's a little bit more angled, and you can do this in one of 2 ways. And it just really depends on the look that you're going for. And like I said, I do multiple ways in each picture, so you can do it however you want. For this, I'm going to do this curve in 1 piece. So I'm going to measure, I'm going to put it here at that joint and kind of put my fingernail right where that turn is. I don't really have a fingernail, but the tip of my finger, and just kind of go ahead and bend it. And then I'm gonna bend it a little bit better more severely. Okay, like that. There you go. And then I'm just going to place it and make sure that the bend is where I want it to be, and it is. And then sort of figure out the length over on this side, put my finger there, go ahead and cut it. Cut that off. Use my glue and go ahead and outline it again with a very, very heavy hand there. Now if you don't have, oh, it popped off again. So if it pops off like this, this is not a big deal. Do not get frustrated. Sometimes you have to go back to it over and over again until it just finally holds. And just go ahead again and press it down. It's just not, just don't take it so seriously. Okay, there you go. Nope, that's not right. It's a little hard to do it with a camera in front of my face. Well, we're gonna call that good enough. Okay, anyway, so what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, if you do not have a little circles glue bottle, you can probably outline this with like a toothpick, although it's gonna be just a little bit more difficult. If you can find a needle tip bottle, it'll be much easier, especially if you're gonna make up a lot of mosaics. If you find them as enjoyable as I do, and you're gonna spend hours and hours on these pictures like I do, I would just suggest finding yourself a needle tip. You'll be amazed how much time and less annoying it will be. So, okay, so now that we have that bent and the glue's been, you know, set, we just once again line it up, get it to touch, and then just put it on. And you can see this one is just so much easier. I mean, and then that's it. And you just kind of leave it. And what I like to do is I'll work, see? I'll work in different sections so they have time to dry before moving on to the next section. So I just kind of, so I'm gonna, you know, get away from that one, although I'm sure I'll be back to it if it pops off again. And I don't want to mess with this one right now, so I'm just going to turn and work on something else. And I think what I'm going to do is, let's see, I want a kind of angled one. I guess we'll do this one right here. Okay, so you could do this one just like how we did the last one, or, let me get a piece again. I'm going to do this one slightly different. I'm going to do this in 3 pieces. It'll be more than 3 pieces, but I'm going to show you in 3 pieces. So I'm first going to start right here, figure out where to cut it, and go ahead and glue that. And you might want to put this down and then allow it to dry and then come back to the next piece, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do it right now. Let's see. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and measure from that one to that one. And then what you're going to do to join them is just put a little glue up the side like that, and then again across. And then you just put that right up against it. Kind of where you want them to be. Kind of like putting a puzzle together. It really is easier if you put one piece up and then join them when one's dry. That's good enough. There we go. Good enough. Let me check the back there. Yeah, that's fine. So, okay, let's check the piece that was slipping a ton. I think that one's finally done. So, okay, so you can see there's just a ton of glue all over the page. It totally doesn't matter. So don't take it too seriously. You can do the entire thing by cutting little pieces and adding them here and cutting little pieces and adding them here. But my biggest suggestion is just work a little space, rotate it. Work a little space, rotate it. Work a little space, rotate it. If you have pieces falling over and you're getting really pissed off, just set it aside and come back. It does take a little bit of practice. So, but just remember, this is supposed to be fun. You know, it is a tedious program or process. So, you know, do it while you're listening to the radio or something, you know, so there's something else enjoyable going on while you're doing this process. And if you have tiny little branches, it's going to be even more tedious. So I've learned over the years that I actually enjoy the tedious parts best. But it's taken me a really long time to get to this point. So you're going to fill it all in, and then it's going to look like my other picture did in the swatch video. And I'm going to bring that out now because I'm going to show you. So after you get it all filled in, the next part is to then fill that in with your quilling. And I've already done that on this one. So you can see I chose to fill mine in with 2 colors mixed together. I'm doing, well, it's actually, I've got 3 colors going on, 2 dark purples. I've got Grape Jelly and Purple Monster, and then I've got Velvety Darkness as the black. So the thing that I wanted to point out about this before getting to the filling in is for my outline. If you can kind of see, you'll see, well, that one's black and then that one's purple. Well, they're still the same. So what I did for that, for making it, is I did 2 strips of whichever violet I was using and 2 strips of black, and I just alternated them. It was black, violet, and then I didn't really care which way they turned, you know. It didn't really matter. And if you look at it, you can't really even see the outline, and you won't see it especially once I start filling everything in. But you can see it just kind of keeps it contained. It looks so neat, and it won't necessarily be as neat or stuffed. That sounds terrible, but it won't be so condensed, I guess, if you do not do the outline. So definitely try one with, try one without, and see what you like best. I can see pros and cons to both, so, and I'm sure you will too. But so after you finish your outline, go ahead and fill it in whatever way you want, and then in the next video we're going to go over what I call orbs, or adding some different elements before shading in the entire piece. So it's time to get to quilling and get to outlining, and you probably have a ton of work to do. I'm going to go ahead and continue outlining my other piece and filling it in, and I hope to have another video for you shortly. So thanks for joining me again, and I will hopefully catch you on our Quill-Along Facebook group. And I can't wait to see what you guys are coming up with too. And if you have any questions, if this is your first quilling project you've ever done and you're like, well, wait, you didn't go over how to quill the pieces or put them in, I'm not going to go over that in this piece, as this is kind of a more advanced piece. If you want to check out our retro flower mosaic videos, that kind of goes over more of the basics. If you even need to learn the basic shapes, we have that on our website for free, www.littlecircles.net. You can find a free tutorial there on how to learn the shape. So check out those videos. I'll provide links below this video on YouTube, where you can find those resources if you need them. Otherwise, get busy, and I'm excited to see what you come up with. So until next time, have a great day, and happy quilling.